Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Giri Varadhari Jai Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Giri Varadhari Jai Giri Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Chamuna Tira Vanachari Chamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Jai Radha Radha Nat Radha Radha Nat Radhe Jai Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asatasa Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Privaracharya Asatasa Srila Bhaktisanta Saraswati Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai, Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 19, Text 8. Ahurasvara Sanadhya Shri Radhadi Anagorasan Taravo Bhuri Varshmana Prashuyanta Madhuchuta Ahu Sarvara Sanadhya Shri Radhadi Anagorasan Taravo Bhuri Varshmana Parusyante Madhuchuta Ahu Sarvara Sanadhya Shri Radhadi Anagorasan Taravo Bhuri Varshmana Prashuyanta Madhuchita. Repeat. Aho Sarvara Sanadhya Bhuri Varshmana Prashuyanta Madhuchita Aho Sarvara Sanadhya Shri Radhadi Anagorasan Tarova Bhuri Marshmana Parasuyanta Yashurasa Ahurasara Sanyadhya Shri Radhadi Anagorasan Taravo Bhuri Varshmana Prashyanta Manuchita Tahu sarva rasanatya Shiradhadhyana Gaurasan Taravo Puri Vashmana Pashayanta Madhuchta Sarvarasanadhya Shiradhadhyana Gaurasan Taravo Puri Vashmana. So we'll do the word for word. Ahu Bo Sarvarasan, all kinds of taste. Nadhya, the rivers. Shira, milk. Dadhi, curd. Anna, different kinds of food. Gaurasan, other milk products. Tarava, trees. Puri, great. Varshmanaha, having bodies. Prashuyanta, bore fruit. Madhuchita, dropping honey. So we'll read the translation and purport. Translation: the flowing rivers supplied all kinds of taste, sweet, pungent, sour, etc. The very big trees supplied fruit and honey in abundance. The cows, having eaten sufficient green grass, supplied profuse quantities of milk, curd, clarified butter, and similar necessities. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. If rivers are not polluted and are allowed to flow in their own way, or sometimes allowed to flood the land will become very fertile and able to produce all kinds of vegetables and trees and plants. The word rasa means taste. Actually, all rasa or taste within the earth, and as soon as seeds are sown in the ground, various trees sprout up to satisfy our different tastes. For instance, sugarcane provides its juices to satisfy our taste of sweetness. The oranges provide their sweetness to satisfy our taste of mixture of sour and sweet. Similarly, there are pineapples and other fruits. At the same time, there are chilies to satisfy our taste of pungency. Although the earth's ground is the same, different tastes arise due to different kinds of seeds. As Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, Bijaham Sarvabhutanam, I am the original seed of all existences. Therefore, all arrangements are there. And as stated in the Ishapanishad, Purnam Idham, complete arrangements for the production of all necessities of life are made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. People should therefore learn how to satisfy the Yagya Purush. Lord Vishnu, indeed, the living entity's prime business is to satisfy the Lord, because the living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. Thus, the whole system is so arranged that the living entity must do his duty as he is constitutionally made. Without doing so, the living entity must suffer. That is the law of nature. The word Taravo Bhuri Vashmana indicates very luxuriantly grown, big-bodied trees. The purpose of these trees was to produce honey and varieties of fruit. In other words, the forest also has its purpose in supplying honey, fruit, and flowers. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, due to the absence of yagya, there are many big trees in the forest, but they do not supply sufficient fruit and honey. Thus, everything is dependent on the performance of yajna. The best way to perform yajna in this age is to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. So we'll try to say something on these, on this purport. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhastam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namaste. Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripasindubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, we are here now on text 8, and we've seen that we've come through many other chapters glorifying Prithu Maharaj and his rule, the emperor of this world, and how he's been ruling this world. So basically, prior to this, the earth was holding back and she wasn't supplying anything. But now that Prithu Maharaj is ruling, and he basically he's performing a yajna now, and he's trying to milk the earth of various kinds of substances. And we see here that now the earth is supplying the different ingredients for the living entity to live peacefully in this world, right? And we see here in this purport, Prabhupada is making the point that the rivers are not polluted. If the rivers are not polluted and allowed to flow in their own way, or sometimes allowed to flood the land will become very fertile and able to produce all kinds of vegetables. So we see nowadays, since time, people have been cutting down trees in order to build cities, towns, villages, like that, cut roads, railways, like that. So these natural things, the environment is basically being used for our own selfish purposes, basically. In large cities, there's so much of pollution now, with so many big factories coming up, and as we drive along the highway, we can see these huge factories, and they're blowing smoke, and which is basically things that are actually contaminating and polluting the atmosphere. So, at least in the city of Durban, proud to say that there are trees around. Wherever you look, you find trees, and as you go to other towns also, you find there's lots of trees and plantations like that. So we are fortunate in this regard, and here at the temple, the temple is surrounded by trees, right? Wherever you look, you can find a tree. So, when I was in Vrindavan on Parikram, and my Guru Maharaj was relating the pastime, we were at, what's this place? Talavan. And Gurudev was relating this pastimes of how, Balaram and Krishna would pluck out these trees and they would smash the head of Dhenukasura like this. So, and he mentioned these were palm trees. And now when I sit in the temple and I look outside and I see there's palm trees around us, and I think of Talavan. So in this way, we can think of Krishna like this, and his pastimes. Just by sitting in the temple and looking out of the window, we can think of Krishna. Not only that, we can think of Krishna at looking at the blue skies. So in this way, hearing classes on Bhagavatam and chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra, it'll actually bring us closer to Krishna, and we'll be able to remember Krishna like this. So we go on in the purport, and Prabhupada says, actually all rasas and tastes on earth as seeds are sown in the ground, there are various trees that sprout up to satisfy our different tastes. So, we have a tongue and we have different taste buds, right? We have the taste bud of sweetness, right? Most people like sweets, right? And I'm not a sweet tooth, but but people have a sweet tooth and they love sweets, right? But hook or crook, they will have to have a sweet, right? And then we have pungent, a taste of pungency, and that Prabhupada mentions that the chili is there to satisfy that taste bud. And then he goes on to say that there's so many varieties of, and then the orange is given to actually satisfy our taste of sweet and sour, right? So the orange is given. So there are different fruits. Like when we're making sweet and sour sabji, we use pineapple because pineapple has that sweet and sourish taste. So we add pineapple into that, and imli or tamarind, yeah. So like this to satisfy that taste bud of sweet and sour. And also Prabhupada mentions that there are different fruits, right? And we'll find that each of these fruits have their distinctive tastes. Like we have the lychee, right? It's succulent and it has a different flavor than a mango. And a mango is like the queen of all fruits, right? And it is very sweet and, I guess when I'm talking about the mango, your mouths are drooling now, right? Because of, just imagine eating a mango right now. It's like, it's so succulent, it's like that. And then there's pomegranates and guava. Guava have a distinctive taste. And, so the different types of fruits have distinctive tastes. And where all these tastes are coming from, right? They have to be coming from Krishna. Because Krishna is full of variegatedness, he's full of variety. So therefore all these tastes are actually produced from him. The seed is planted in the soil, and Krishna basically is a life-giving, father for all living entities. Aham bija pradapita. I'm the seed-giving father for all living entities. That's what he says in the Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, we can actually appreciate these different tastes and think of Krishna. Yes, Krishna, this taste is coming from Krishna. So, people may ask, how can I think of Krishna always? I can't think of Krishna always because my mind is pulling me here and pulling me there. But everything around us should remind us of Krishna. As I was saying just now, looking out of the window, looking at the sky, looking at the trees, we can be reminded of Krishna like this. So, and tasting something that's nice, we can actually think of Krishna. And also tasting something that's not so nice, like, Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Rasoham apsukunteya, that I am the taste of water. So let's just go to the Bhagavad Gita and read that purport where Prabhupada says that I am the taste of water, and just try to analyze this. Jai Shri Radharadhanath ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in the Bhagavad Gita 7.8, Rasaham apsikanteya prabhashmi sasisuryaha pranava sarvavedeshu shabdake purushamneshu. Translation: O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. Purport: Prabhupada says, in this verse, Krishna explains how the Lord is all-pervasive. By his diverse material and spiritual energies, the Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way, he is realized impersonally. So, the impersonalists basically perceive the Lord by his different energies. So Prabhupada says here, he can be perceived in this way impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by the all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is an active principle of water, right? No one likes to drink seawater. How many of you like to drink seawater? Right? No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. So here, I'm just reminded of this pastime of Srila Prabhupada, where he was giving a class in Los Angeles, and Uttama Shloka Prabhu, relates this pastime where Prabhupada is giving this class, on the same verse, and Prabhupada says, Krishna says that I am the taste of water. And, and someone brings up the point, yes, but, water is mixed with other substances. And Prabhupada says, yes, whatever substance it is mixed with, if it's mixed with something sweet like a juice, or, like that. So, that's also the taste of Krishna. And then somebody asked Prabhupada, and what about alcohol? And Prabhupada says, yes, a person who drinks, an alcoholic, a drunkard, he can also think of Krishna, and he can drink the alcohol and think, this taste is so nice. It's just like Krishna. So, although we don't encourage drinking alcohol, but you can think of Krishna by, if someone is addicted to drinking alcohol, then they can think of Krishna like this by drinking alcohol, and and they're addicted to the taste of it. So in this way, they can think of Krishna, and it'll bring them closer to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, so Prabhupada makes a point like this, and then he goes on to say that. The Lord, the impersonalists perceive the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord by his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. This is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. So here Prabhupada is making the point that, we can perceive Krishna, impersonally, like as in the case of the taste of water, right? Sweet water, right? is Krishna. And in this way, we can be reminded of Krishna. So this is basically his impersonal aspect. But also Krishna can be perceived personally in his deity form, right? So, and Prabhupada says there's no real contradiction if one knows the absolute truth in these two different ways and how we can perceive him, right? So the light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord, and pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound, in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound, Omkar. But they do not realize that Omkar is a sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends every way, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. So in this way, we understand that by understanding Krishna in these different aspects, we come to knowledge of Krishna, and this is then we have full realization of Krishna by actually implementing this knowledge in our lives. But those who are in ignorance, they basically are in bondage of this material world and are in ignorance. So in this way, they cannot perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we'll go on reading from the Bhagavatam. And so, for instance, sugarcane provides its juice to satisfy our sweetness, and oranges provide their juices to satisfy our taste of mixture of sour and sweet. Similarly, there are pineapples and different fruit. At the same time, there are chilies to satisfy our taste of pungency. It is also described in Ayurveda that if our fire of digestion is very low, then we can eat chilies in order to actually activate the fire of digestion, so that so you don't suffer from heartburn and indigestion in this way. So we go on to the next verse of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Punya gandha prithvim cha tejas chasmi bivavishu jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapas chasmi tapashvishu. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. So in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance. As the flavor and fragrance in a flower or in earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc., the uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. So we see that, the flowers have different fragrance, and here on our grounds we have different flowers. At the moment they're not in blooming, but in summer we find them, like the champaks have a distinct smell about them, right? And then we have the jasmines. The Ratgarani, the night blooming jasmine, also has a distinct aroma about it. So in this way we have different smells like this, different aromas that which is actually coming from the seed of that plant, which is given by Krishna, because he is the seed-giving father for all living entities. And all living entities does not only mean you and I, human beings, but also animals, birds, beasts, trees, plants, creepers, all these are living entities, right? And we should respect all living entities by not killing these living entities to satisfy our own taste buds, right? So Krishna here, he's giving the example of the fragrance of the earth is coming from the Supreme Lord in the form of different flowers. The rose has a beautiful aroma about it, different flowers like this. So in this way, there's different fragrances, and when we smell, we offer a flower to the Lord, and we smell it thereafter. And when we smell it, we are reminded of Krishna. Krishna smells just like this, like this beautiful flower. So. So this is what is being stated here. Vibhavashu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in that fire is Krishna, right? So also the heat in that fire is the Supreme Lord. Everything is emanating from the Supreme Lord. He's stating this in the Sri Upanishad. Aham sarvasya prabhava, mata sarvam parvatite, that everything is emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada goes on to say, according to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. Okay, there's it. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. So one can prolong his life or diminish it. So how can one prolong one's life? It is being stated, in Ayurveda basically. There's a process, or according to the Patanjali system, there's a process called pranayam. And pranayam is holding the breath. And we see that there are many sages in the Himalayas that hold their breath for, a year. Maybe they breathe once a year. And in this way, they live a very, very long time. Right? And they come down during the Kumbh Mela. They come down, and you can have audience of these Babajis or these, these ascetics, where they practice pranayam, and they also look very young, because they not utilizing their bodies. They have in the Himalayas practicing all these austerities, ascetics, these penances. Like this, so they look very young, and but they are like thousands and thousands of years old. They're from the last yuga, basically, like Dwapar Yuga, like that. They're living so long because why? They are holding their breath. So our life is made up of certain breaths, so many breaths, and once those breaths are finished, then the body is no more. So here's a trick on how to live longer. Right? But to hold your breath. But actually devotees don't practice pranayam because they practice chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And in this way, they think of Krishna at the time of death, and they're transferred into the spiritual world. So there's no need to actually practice all these Astanga yoga practices, right? There's no need for us to do that. All we got to do is chant the holy names of Krishna and be transferred to the spiritual realm. So in this way, so this is the most easiest and sublime method that's given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for us, people of Kali Yuga, because we have short lives, right? Previously, people used to live for thousands of years, like in Dwapar Yuga, people used to live for thousands of years. And, in Kali Yuga, we only live for 100 years, and not even that, Sometimes, while the child is just born and he dies, sometimes, you're hit by a car accidents. There's so many ways, that the body is subjected to death in this material world with the fast life that we lead, right? Modern age. So in this way, the body comes to an end very quickly. So, many years ago, there were devotees going on Sankirtan, and their vehicle basically flipped over, and most of them, this is a story, pastime that I heard, devotees from this temple, and some of them never made it, some of them were crippled for life, and like that. So this is a very sad situation, but yes, but the most important thing is your consciousness at the time of death. You have to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the time of death, and Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, that yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajati antakalevaram, right? That whatever you think of at the time of death, to that state you will attain without fail. So we should train ourselves to think of Krishna, right? And be transferred to the spiritual realm at the time of death. So we strayed away from our topic, but let's just go on. And then the last part of this purport, Prabhupada says, the word Taro Bhuri Varshma indicates very luxuriantly grown, big-bodied trees, right? The purpose of these trees were to produce honey and varieties of fruit. So, yes, so today's, went to a Fragrance Street Market the other day, and I saw like small apples like this, it's so small. Although they're maybe organically grown, but they're like so little, So everything is diminishing in this age of Kali Yuga, right? And it's basically its potency is lost. Previously, when Krishna was here, Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys, they would sport in the forest, and these trees, huge trees, used to ooze out honey, right? And we know the pastime of Lord Balaram and how, he was having a rasa dance with his gopis, but prior to that, he was drinking this varuni that was oozing out from the trees. He was drinking that, and he became a little transcendently intoxicated. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, after all, and in this way, so we find this honey is oozing out from these trees, and if you drink too much, then too much of anything is no good, right? So yeah, so you become intoxicated like this. So this is one of the ways, one of the examples that Prabhupada is giving here, that these big-bodied trees would ooze out honey. The purpose of these trees is to produce honey and the varieties of fruit. In other words, the forest also has its purpose in supplying honey, fruit, and flowers. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, due to the absence of yagya, there are many big trees in the forest, but they do not supply sufficient fruit and honey. Thus, everything is dependent on the performance of yagya. The best way to perform yagya in this age is to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. So here Prabhupada is talking about, performing yagya. When you satisfy the Supreme Lord by performance of yagya, giving back to the Supreme Lord, then in this way, he provides us with everything. Like here, in the Krishna consciousness movement, whatever we eat, we offer it to the Lord first before we accept it. So in this way, this is also a type of yagya that we are performing in order to satisfy the Lord, right? And then Prabhupada makes a point here that the Sankirtan yagya, the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, is the best type of yagya in this day and age. If you go out in the streets and set up a a huge pandal and do a fire sacrifice, how many people would come? Because people are of all races, and we'll have the other groups of people cursing us, like you're worshipping demons, this, that. So you cannot really perform a yagya like that for the public. But in previous ages, a huge sort of structure was made, and they would perform a huge fire sacrifices like this. But in this age, it's not possible because we do not have qualified brahmanas to actually perform these, to recite these mantras, in order for us to gain the benefit of this. And so the Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has given us this very sublime method of the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, the Mahamantra. So, just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we can satisfy the Supreme Lord, and in this way, everything will be bestowed upon us. So we can perform the Sankirtan Yagya, go out in the streets, right, and chant and engage others to chant and dance to the holy names of Krishna. And Prabhupada makes another point here in the purport, and he says, therefore all arrangements are there, and as stated in the Sri Upanishad, complete arrangement for the production of all necessities of life are made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we go to the Sri Upanishad and we'll recite this verse and read some part of this purport, where Prabhupada says, or the verse goes as this: Om Purnamadha Purnamidham Purnat Purnamidhachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnam Eva Vivishyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is as complete in itself, because He is the complete whole. Even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains a complete balance. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is making the point that the Supreme Lord is complete, and He's given us in this material world everything completely. Everything here in this material world is complete for us to live happily and to worship the Supreme Lord and go back to the spiritual world. So we'll read some part of this purport. The complete whole, or the Supreme Truth, is a complete personality of Godhead. Realization of impersonal Brahman, or of Paramatma, the Supersoul, is in complete realization of the Absolute Truth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha, realization of impersonal Brahman is realization of His Sat feature, or His aspect of eternality. This Paramatma realization is realization of His Sat and Chit features, His aspect of eternity and knowledge, but realization of the Personality of Godhead is realization of the transcendental features Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Ananda means bliss. So by worshipping the Supreme Lord in its complete whole form, so we have these three types of realization: the impersonal aspect, right? The Paramatma, which is within the heart. So some people pray to the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Some people pray to the Paramatma within the heart. And, we as devotees, we pray to the Archavigraha, the complete form of the Lord, right? We know that Krishna has a form, and we can meditate on His form, in different ways in order to achieve Him like this. So then Prabhupada goes on to say that if Krishna was formless, or if he was less than his creation in any other way, he could not be complete. The complete whole must contain everything, both within and beyond our experience. Otherwise, he cannot be complete. So Krishna is complete in every respect. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies, all of which are as complete as he is. Thus, this phenomenal world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements, of which the material universe is a temporary manifestation, are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and sustenance of this universe. So other units of the universe need make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by the energy of the complete whole. And when the schedule is completed, the temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete whole. So Prabhupada is saying that everything is being given to us by the complete whole, which is Krishna, and everything here is complete. There's nothing that we need to get from another source. Everything is provided within this material realm for us to live happily and to engage in worshipping the Supreme Whole like this. So we need not get anything from anywhere else, right? And in this way, we can be satisfied living in this material world. All facilities are given to this complete whole units, namely the living beings, to enable them to realize the complete whole. All forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So if we do not have complete knowledge of the Supreme Lord, if we do not have knowledge of the Lord, how can we satisfy him? We cannot satisfy him. So this is incomplete knowledge. Right? If we're just worshipping the Brahman feature of the Lord, this is incomplete knowledge. Or if we were just worshipping the Paramatma feature of the Lord, this is incomplete knowledge. So we have to have complete knowledge of who Krishna really is. He's the super soul within all of our hearts. He also, has these different energies, as I was explaining earlier, that we can perceive him by, like the taste in water, the fragrance of the earth, the, different manifestations like this. This is how we can perceive Krishna. And, and also Krishna is a person, and he has pastimes with his loving devotees in Vrindavan. So in this way, we can understand Krishna as a complete whole, right? If we just have one aspect of the Lord, that is incomplete knowledge. If we just worship his Brahman feature, this is incomplete knowledge, Prabhupada is stating here. So in this way, we should try to gain access to this knowledge, and all this knowledge is within Srila Prabhupada's books, the Sri Upanishad, the Bhagavad Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. Like this, if we want to understand who Krishna is, then we should actually understand it from a neophyte point of view, basically from the Bhagavad Gita itself, climbing up as we gain more knowledge, we can go up to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, like this. So in this way we can get a complete understanding of Krishna. And Krishna very nicely, elaborately explains himself in the Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, in the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge, in the 10th chapter and 11th chapter, he gives very detailed explanation about himself, And sometimes when people read this, they may think that Krishna has such a huge false ego. He's talking about himself. I am like this, I am like that, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, I maintain, I am the source of the material and creation, spiritual worlds. But this is the real fact, that this is Krishna. If you want to know about a person, then you go up to the person and ask him about himself. You don't go to the third person and ask, who is this person? I want to know more about him. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is explaining about himself, who he is, and then that's how we're able to grasp this knowledge of who Krishna really is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And many people, they don't believe that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, you know. Oh, he's just a cowherd boy, he's this, he's that, you know. They come up with so many different theories, but they haven't read Bhagavad Gita, they haven't read the different scriptures. How can they come to a conclusion of who Krishna really is? So with that, my time is over, and if anyone has any questions or comments, you're most welcome to make them now. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was, thank you Ranga, it was very sweet. I was listening to a class by Urmila Devi on this verse, and she made 2 points that I really liked, so I thought I'll share it. She was saying that, she was quoting Sherlock Holmes, where Sherlock Holmes once said that God must be good because he gives us more than is necessary. Like she was saying that the flowers, the variety of tastes, it's not necessary to maintain somebody. Like in Germany, when they had people in the concentration camps, they would give them just enough food so they could keep working. But Krishna, even in the material world, he gives us a variety of tastes, and that's how you know that the boss is good also, you know. And she made this other point that you were mentioning Rasawa Pikunteya, the taste of water. She was saying that not only do we experience that taste when we taste something, but also we get the rasa of seeing beautiful things, and we won't be able to see it unless the membrane of our eyes are moist. So she's saying that way water provides that rasas in many ways that we don't really see. And at the end, the point that comes across in the purport is about suffering, and that it feels very heavy that like if you don't satisfy Krishna, you're going to suffer. That's what the purport is saying. And she says that it's not that Krishna wants us to suffer, but that because we are part of him, if he enjoys, we enjoy. You know, I mean, I guess I've heard that so many times, but somehow when she said it, it like clicked. That if you're part of somebody, then their enjoyment is your enjoyment. And yeah. Exactly. But my question, I had one question, was that when the Ishopanishad is saying that Krishna is perfect and complete, and everything that emanates him, both materially and spiritually, is perfect and complete, and all the parts are perfect and complete, we are also parts of Krishna. That means I'm supposed to already be perfect and complete. And that doesn't sound right. So I don't know about that.
Yes, so basically when we're talking about being parts of Krishna, we're referring to the soul. The soul is perfect and complete, right? And it's pure in its purest form. The soul, you are the soul, but now you are covered by this material body, and with this body comes so many incompleteness, that imperfections of this body, right? So this is the difference, of the completeness. So yes, we are the spirit soul. We are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are complete in that regard. But because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, we attain this material body, and now this material body is imperfect. So that is how we are perceived. Because we are on the bodily concept of life, we think we are this body, and therefore we think we are incomplete. Understand? We think we are this body, and we think we're incomplete. How can it make sense that Krishna is making the statement that, everything is complete in this material world? No. So if we are Krishna conscious and we think in this line that I am part and parcel of Krishna, I'm not this body, I'm the soul, and I'm complete. So in that way, we are basically complete with Krishna. And Krishna's statements can never be a lie, right? The statements of Sri Upanishad can never be a lie. So in this way, we are complete in that way, right? We are the soul, spirit soul, not this body. Anything else? Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.